I dated an American for 2 months and he humiliated me in front of his friends when we were drunk. I female of 22 years, born and raised in a third world country. I met and dated George, a handsome boy of 24 years from the USA, who was settled in my country for a year. We matched on Bumble. The first time we hung out in person, we spent a total of 3 days and 2 nights together, splitting our time between my place and his. Despite knowing he had only 2 months left in my country, we kept seeing each other, enjoying everything we do together, from fancy dinners to clubs to lazy indoor days to culturally significant places. Overall, those 2 months were a lot of fun for both of us. Fast forward to his last weekend here, he was living with around 5 other guys in a villa with a pool. We planned to spend the weekend together, going out with his co-workers on Friday night, having a cookout on Saturday, and packing on Sunday for his Monday flight. Friday night was good, he got drunk, and I took care of him until we went to bed. Saturday started off well until a drinking game went crazy, and I ended up a bit too intoxicated. He looked after me while I was throwing up, but during the cookout, he seemed somewhat distant. Considering it was my first time hanging with him and his friends, it might be normal. It's worth noting that on Saturday, I befriended one of his roommates, who I initially thought was gay. However, it turns out he isn't, and I mentioned this to George. Sunday was spent together. I made burgers for everyone, helped George pack, ordered food, and we had done everything like husband and wife. We shared intimate moments, sharing our last words to each other. He even confessed that despite our short time together, what we had was pure love. We agreed not to pursue a long-distance relationship, but he regretted that we hadn't met earlier, because it would have been different. I'm moving to Europe in a few months, and he promised to visit me a year from now on a specific date. One day after crying myself to sleep last night, I was making an album of our photos and found a video from Saturday night where we were all enjoying together. In it, George was bullying me in front of his friends, saying, "What are your pronouns again?" He spoke bad and double-meaning words about me in Spanish. Everyone laughed and I did too, but I didn't understand what he said since I do not speak Spanish. After telling everyone not to tell me what it means, he asks if it hurt my feelings. I say yes, but he laughed it off, telling me that I didn't know what he said, later apologizing and telling me that it mean of him. This incident, coupled with a feeling that something was off the next morning, has left me feeling humiliated and uncertain about what else may have happened that night. While I acknowledged George's care and affection throughout our time together, there were moments when he seemed indifferent when I was sad he was leaving, but overall he was crazy over me. I even left his place with a bunch of his belongings that he couldn't fly with, alongside some very significant items of his, and love letters. I'm torn between confronting him directly and letting it go, especially considering he already left. I plan to get some things I left from their place soon, and I am considering asking his roommate if anything else occurred that night. What if we reconnect later? Should I address these concerns or move on? Despite his promise to stay in touch and FaceTime, the distance complicates matters, and he does not owe me much over text. What should I do?